Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for your time this afternoon. We are in our deadline week here at the Capitol. A lot going on this week, several bills being heard. Of course, the most important issue that continues to be focused on is teacher pay raise in the state of Oklahoma, and how we deliver that, and how do we go from point A to point E in delivering a teacher pay raise that makes Oklahoma a competitive state in the region, that honors our hardworking teachers across the state of Oklahoma as well. This has been a topic that has been discussed for years, and for the last few sessions, the last 6 years that I've been here in the legislature. And over that time, I've learned what the state of Oklahoma needs is a transformational plan, a plan with vision, something that gets beyond rhetoric, beyond discussion, beyond debate, that actually materializes. We need a long-term solution, one that we know that we can achieve, regardless of the things that may pop up along the way. Our teachers have been waiting a very long time for a pay raise. There is an extreme willingness of the legislature to figure out the way to achieve that. There's multiple paths to it, but we need a plan that is transformational, and that's what I wanted to come and talk about today. A long-term solution to a long-term problem. In 1976, in my very early years in elementary school, we were 58th in teacher pay. In 1988, when I graduated high school, we were 58th in teacher pay in this state. 8 years after the passage of House Bill 1017, we were 45th in teacher pay in this nation. And in 2013, we were still 48th in pay. We need a long-term strategy to a long-term issue, and one that will continue. We don't need Band-Aid applications to a short-term solutions to a long-term problem. Very much like the things that have been accomplished in this state over the past decade with our pensions. The Republican majority inherited a pension system that was around 40% funded. But with long-term vision and with discipline, those pension funds today are around 70% funded to 100% funded, depending on which pension you want to look at. That took a period of time to achieve, but we're very much well served for it today. Our state's infrastructure on roads and bridges is another example of a vision to address a long-term program. From that, or a problem, from that, the 8-year plan came about. And our structurally deficient bridges have decreased to around 20% through that plan. The state of Oklahoma and the legislature has also observed the need not only for a teacher pay raise, but for structural changes. And that needs to be incorporated in the vision. We need to incentivize career teachers. We need to honor teachers that have dedicated their lives, 25 plus years of service to education. by creating a pay structure that allows them to grow, that somebody coming into the profession can say, although Oklahoma has the best starting pay in the region, I want to be able to end with the best pay after 25 years of service, after 20 years of service, after 15 years of service. Those are the components that we have to address to be successful and to have a competitive and stable education system in the state of Oklahoma. This plan today is a plan that I think is achievable. It is one with a series of steps that can be realized quickly or on pace with certainty to our industry, and one that puts us number one in the region and makes us very highly competitive in this nation. That's what we want to shoot for in the state legislature. We want to be number one in Oklahoma. We want to be number one in this region. Everybody will benefit from that. I thank you for allowing me to be here to say a few words about how important teacher pay is for the state. There are a lot of very important issues to address in the state. What we hear from our constituency is teacher pay is at the top of that list among the multiple priorities. And today I think this is a path that we can get there to address teacher pay, and we can also address the other priorities in the state of Oklahoma, and we can do it with certainty. And the only question that will remain is how many steps the legislature can make in this session. But we always have to have a vision, and we always have to have a plan that has certainty that we can accomplish and get to where we want to go and where we want to be in the state of Oklahoma. So thank you for your time at this, and I'd like to turn the podium over to Representative Michael Rogers, who has served as in our education leadership here in the House of Representatives, to talk more about the specifics of this vision. Representative Rogers.
Thank you. Thank you, Speaker McCall. Thank you all for joining us today. It's an exciting day for Oklahoma. As we look at this transformational plan, as the Speaker referenced it, it gives Oklahoma the opportunity to do something that we've done in other areas, and that is have a long-term thinking and a long-term plan. The teachers across this state, I think, deserve it. I think they deserve the legislature to put this together and to make sure that it's achievable. Like any plan, there'll be people who say, well, I don't like this or I don't like that. It's not a perfect plan, but it's something that we can do. And the most important thing with a plan is that it's actually achievable and actually can happen. This plan is a phased-in approach. It's got 6 different steps. As the Speaker said, we can accelerate those at any time, depending on the ability for people to work together. But it's also a plan, unlike any other plan we've seen, that we can achieve if we don't have any other partners, and we can give certainty to teachers that we are going to address the teacher pay raise this session. The first year of the plan will cost us roughly $114 million. When fully implemented, it'll move Oklahoma from the back of the heat all the way up to 18th in the country in pay and number 3 in the country when you adjust for cost of living. As the Speaker alluded to earlier, that has not happened in 40 years in the legislature for us to have a plan that would move us in that position to have the authority to do that. Oklahoma would get out of the export business of teachers and move into the import business. It gives us the ability from this day forward to put the nation on notice for all teachers across the nation to know that Oklahoma is open for business. We want your teachers. We've got a plan in place for them, and we are willing not only, as the speaker said before, to be number one in the region in beginning salary, but to also be nearly 5,000 more than our competitor, Texas, down south after it's fully implemented. It moves our beginning teachers up $10,000 from where they're currently at, and a 20-year plus teacher, when this thing is fully implemented, will see a 50% pay increase. 50% pay increase of over $20,000. No other plan can do that. We appreciate some of the other plans that were out there that gave us 4,000, 5,000, and 10,000. This is a plan that's sustainable. This is a plan that's long-term. This plan gives us the ability to pay the teachers what they're worth, and for us as a state, as the legislature, and the communities to show our teachers, hey, we want the best teachers in front of our students so we can have the best outcomes possible. The other thing that this plan does is it keeps our career teachers in the classroom where we want them. We've known as we've started looking through our teacher shortage over the years, we've seen the retirement numbers. We've talked to the actuaries to see, we know X amount of teachers are going to turn 65 this year because of the baby boomers. And we also know that at the rate they're retiring, unless we do something to slow that down and recruit new teachers, we're going to have a problem in that gap. So this allows our teachers to stay in the classroom longer, allows them to up the amount that they can retire with. It allows that benefit to grow. So for them, it's a smart move for them to do that. It allows us then to attract other teachers into the pipeline from other states in the middle of their session, whether it be 12-year teachers or 15-year teachers. And it allows us to do what we know we need to do. We've heard this from day one since I've been here, that we want to see a long-term plan like roads and bridges, and we've seen the success there. They want to see a long-term plan like we've done with pensions, and we've seen the success there. This is a plan that puts us on that path. It allows us to join arms with the House, with Republicans, Democrats, senators. We don't care about the credit. We just want to make sure it happens. At this point, we're going to turn it over to Ginger Tilley with POE, and she's got a few words.
Thank you. I want to thank the Speaker. Mr. Speaker, thank you very much for your support. And we've also been communicating with the Senate about how to properly fund Oklahoma's teachers. We commend the Senate for their efforts last night in working to advance a significant percentage increase in teacher pay. It gets us on the path of what POE is wanting to do. And so what we have for you, as you can see, is the pay scale. And it's a little complicated to read, so let me take you through it first. Along the very top of the sheet are the years of the plan. It is 60 and 6. That's the name of the plan, 60 and 6. Down the left side of the sheet are the years the teacher has been teaching. And so much like a roadmap, you connect the two dots. Now, so the entry-level teacher is, I believe, $31,600. You'll see that. And then all the way to the bottom, $42,500. And so the way you read it properly is you have to go down in a diagonal. So you start where they are because they move down, they add a year of teaching, and they move over to the year of the plan, and that's how it's advanced. The summaries are at the very end of the sheet for you. In Oklahoma, our beginning teachers and our 25-year career teacher, there's not a lot of difference in their salaries. In fact, the difference is only $10,725. And so no wonder our career teachers get disgruntled and think they're not appreciated because the pay is not rewarding. In most careers, the entry-level person makes quite a bit less than somebody who's been in the business for 25 years. And so that is what this plan will do. We will reward a teacher who's given 25 years plus. They'll be earning $60,000 in 6 years. And that does not include benefits. Okay, so we want to look here on the chart. And right now, our average in Oklahoma, I don't think this is the right one. The average in, right here. I'm sorry? Okay, thank you. Right now, it is $45,245. Regional average is $48,103. And so you can see we are down here at the bottom on the regional average. And so what this plan will do will bring us to the top of the regional average. We're going to be here at the very top. Well, right here is the regional average. We're going to be at 57,000. So this brings us way to the top in the region, and that's exactly what we want to achieve. If you look for a teacher who is 0 years experience, and they start out at $31,600, after they've been in this plan for 6 years, they'll be making $42,400. That's an increase of $10,800 with a percentage of 34.18%. If you go on down to a 15-year teacher, start at $38,075. At the end of this plan, they'll be making $56,200. That's an increase of $18,125, a 47.6% increase. That is significant. 20 years is $40,200 to get to $60,000. That's a $19,800 increase at 49.3%. So we are talking significant gains for the career teacher. We want to reward the career teacher. We want to tell them we appreciate their expertise. We want them to stay in the profession, and we want them to stay in Oklahoma. With this plan, we believe we will shut the exit gate, that they will actually stay in Oklahoma and in the profession. We want to tell you a few benefits, too, for giving teachers a significant pay increase. It'll increase the economic development in their local communities. They'll be able to spend more income, purchasing more things. We'll have stability in the classroom. The students will not have to worry about their teacher. Are they going to be here next year? Are they going to leave? Also, the big bonus is that when a teacher retires, they can actually retire. If they stay at $60,000, let's say they stay in the classroom past 25 years for 3 years, or past when they achieve the $60,000 for 3 years, their Social Security goes up, as does their OTRS. Very, very important, so they can actually live on their retirement. We're hoping with this plan that teachers can quit their second and third jobs.
We're going to open it up for questions. The speaker has to get back to the floor, but Ginger and Representative Rogers will be available for
I
questions.
mean, obviously, the big question is where's the money coming from?
From a legislative standpoint, this plan will allow for multiple paths of consideration. This is a step plan, so we can address those with revenue-raising considerations, but that requires 76 votes in the House of Representatives, require 36 in the Senate, which is a high threshold of passage, but also are attainable this year with 51 measures that would free up money to handle the first step. What's great about the approach and the vision is that the steps can be accelerated based upon the amount of cooperation that can be garnered in among the legislature. And so as we continue to ride the economic wave up in the state of Oklahoma, there will be more opportunities not only for this plan but for other areas that are of significant importance of the state of Oklahoma. In this session, we have what I've mentioned to you. We have revenue-raising measures that could be considered. We have simple majority votes that just require 51.
What are some of the 51?
Well, the House has already passed a tax reform plan to the Senate and advanced ball and dice. Both of those are simple majority votes to pass. I would require just 25 votes in the Senate. The Senate today passed out the removal of the exemption on capital gains, which is a simple majority vote in the House. So those measures alone, if they all were passed, would more than pay for the first step. And at this time, they're telling me I've got to get back on the floor. Thank you for your time, I'll leave you in the very capable hands of others. Thank you. Thank you all for being here. I appreciate teachers in the state of Oklahoma.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, we'll take a few more questions.
What's the average increase per teacher?
You'll see it on the end of the sheet.
Did you get the
You don't know
sheet?
what it is off the top of your
Well,
head?
it's a percentage, so obviously year one, it's around $2,000 is where that average will start. Depending on if you're a first-year teacher, it's a little bit lower. If you're a higher-year teacher, it's a little bit higher because it depends on where you're at the step level.
So it's way short of the 10,000 that most teachers are calling for if it's 2,000.
The first step is. The first year is where it is, but if you look at the full implementation of the plan, we far exceed their expectations when you move that forward.
So just as the speaker said that the plan can be ramped up, I mean, it could
Correct.
also be the next legislature could just decide we don't want to do anything more, so we decelerate.
Yeah, like anything here, the next body could do that. I mean, just like pensions. I mean, if the body came in and decided they wanted to take the $300 million additional dollars we put towards pensions, they could. They've stayed with it because they've seen how important it is. Just like our body could decide we want to do something different with roads and bridges, which we don't, because we've seen how effective it is. The next legislative body can do whatever they'd like, but what we've seen is, especially with education, is once that commitment's made, they like to follow that through. And I think politically, you'd see once they push that forward, it'd be hard for them to back away from it.
So you guys can't actually promise this plan will continue to all 6 steps based on in the future?
No, we can promise that we're going to move down this path. I mean, this is the only plan right out there right now that if we don't get cooperation from other groups, and if other people don't want to come on board and help move some revenue, that we can build this plan and we can move it forward.
I know this OEA is not standing with you. Have you reached out to them? What do they think of the plan?
I haven't reached out to them personally. I would think that any pay raise plan that goes to teachers, any teachers union group would want to be part of. But we're more than willing to have conversations as we move forward if that's something that they'd like to do. But like I said, I would hope that any pay raise plan that after 6 years can move a teacher into a $20,000 pay raise plan, they'd want to be part of.
So how much will you need to implement all 6 steps?
It's over $700 million.
Where does this leave support staff and other public employees?
Great question. That's a question we've been asked. I mean, obviously, support staff is extremely important to us, as well as state employees. But for us, right now, teacher pay is our number one plan. But as we've talked about being able to accelerate the plan, it also gives us the ability, if revenues comes in and people want to be part and join arms together, for us to add those other groups as part of the plan as we move forward.
What about general increases in revenue for education?
No, I mean, it's one of the things that we've talked about from year one since we've been here. We knew the day that we gave teacher pay raises, we'd still have issues to address, how much dollars we put in the classroom, class sizes, all those things, the cuts that have happened over the last couple of years. So it's definitely on our radar. But for us, our number one priority is teacher pay. Once we address that, then we'll be able to go down the list and address those other things.
OEA,
One more question.
OEA has said that the walkout will not be canceled unless all demands are met. So if we're only focusing on teacher pay now, what's going to stop the walkout on April 2nd?
Well, I would hope that would be a change of tone when we're talking about kids. If we're able to put together something that can get us down the line, that we can address teacher pay, that words like demands, I think, are not healthy in this building. I think for anything in this building get done, and I think the media would address that, could say the only way we get this stuff done is everybody walk in arms, step together, including the House, Republicans and Democrats, including the Senate, and including the governor, and including any of the unions who represent them. All right, I've got to run back to the floor, too, so we appreciate you.
Thank you.
We have 2 teachers that can speak to tell their story. How?
What about a teacher who's already taught 25 years? Where would that put them on the...
We're getting ready to talk to one, and we're just from the press.
Yeah, this is my 37th year. It would actually move me up. Will I see as much as a new teacher coming in or a middle one? No, but that's okay. We've got to get the young teachers back in the classroom and keep them in the classroom. Veteran teachers need to be there, but we need the new blood coming in as well. And so this plan, although I won't receive as much, the new teachers will. So we've got to put something in play. all teachers are going to benefit from this plan. Okay.
Where are you a teacher at, and could you say and spell your name for me, please?
I'm from Noble.
Could you step up to the microphone, please?
I'm from Noble.
Okay, could you say and spell your name?
Hal Clary, Halclary.
Where do you teach?
I teach at Noble.
He's the president of Professional Oklahoma Educators.
So you'd be making about, how much do you make now and how much would you make under this plan?
You probably need to talk to my wife. Well, I maxed out at the 25 year.
42.5.
So that would put me at 42.5, approximately. I haven't seen a pay increase in 10 years, which milk and bread and gas is quite a bit higher now than it was 10, 12 years ago when I maxed out. So if I taught the remainder, if I taught 6 more years, then I could be there at the 60 with the steps, because I've already maxed out at the bottom there. So I'm just going to move straight across each year that I teach. Now, will I teach 6 more years? We'll see.
Yes.
$18,000 raise for you.
Yes, ma'am. Yes. So quite a bit more than the 10,000 or even the 5,000, you know. So yeah, would it benefit me to teach 6 more years? Yes. But it's, you know, kind of up to, we'll just take it a year at a time and see where we're at. But the plan is to keep teaching, you know. But we got to get the young teachers to stay.